In this video, I'm making a reseller's guide to the JFJ Easy Pro disc repair machine. Hey guys, welcome back to Commonlad. If you're new here, I make a ton of different hustle content surrounding things like selling things on eBay, running Instagram pages, Shopify stuff, and a whole bunch of other things around making money. If that sounds like something that would interest you, I would highly encourage you to consider subscribing. So yeah, JFJ Easy Pro, probably one of my favorite investments I've made for my online video game store that operates on eBay. I take in a bunch of used games and it's just help with all the ones that don't work or are badly scratched. I've tested probably about 100 games in there. I've been a little bit slow on video games recently just because of everything that's been going on. I've been doing some Shopify stuff and whatnot, but I have been able to get quite a few games tested with it and I've had some pretty good results. I probably had a few that have come through and haven't worked. I had an issue with like a Smash Bros disc. Why don't we go over there and actually look at it? So this is the system here itself. It's actually really compact, which I talked about in the video where I actually got it. I love it. I love the size and everything about it. I've actually gotten a little rosin shelf here, just one of the smaller ones, to store all the games. What's funny about this, and I'm surprised nobody's commented on it yet, but all these games that are sitting on the shelf are the exact same games that were there when I had initially set this whole thing up. I haven't touched them. I haven't moved them. And it's pretty funny because, well, maybe I've moved a couple of them, but I just have not gotten around to them. I've tested lots, like when I get big lots and I put, all the ones that don't work through here, but of the ones I've actually had stored that were not working, I haven't actually gone through and done these ones yet. So I still have all this work to do and I still haven't done it. Anyway, this is the system. It's a pretty sweet setup. I've got a little, towel here for wiping things off. I've got this pegboard here for all of the different accessories that come with the system. I'm not sure where, oh, there the other one is. Some really small microfiber cloths in case I need them. This is supposed to be for, this is for the water spray bottle, which is not here for some reason, but there's usually a big bottle that goes here. And then I've got a couple of the smaller compounds as well as I rebought one of the bigger ones. I will break down the numbers for this system later, but for right now, I think what we should do is run a game through it. I'm going to explain my entire process of it, and then we'll go into the numbers on the system. How much does it cost per game? And the price of the system, is it worth it? What scale do you have to be kind of selling at to be able to buy one? And yeah, is it worth your money? So let's go ahead here and start off. I'll pick a random game from down here. Why don't we just actually go for one in a case, like Grand Theft Auto 4 here. I kind of think this is a half decent angle. We'll start here at least. So here's the game itself. We got a security tag that we'll have to take off, but that's all right. There's also a sticker here. It's from Roger's video. I might play around with getting that off, but I probably won't. Anyway, let's see if I can get you guys the scratches here. Get a good look at that. It's not that bad. There's definitely a couple scratches, so I'm guessing that this one was tested and did not work. There you go. You can get a good look at it. So yeah, I'm gonna guess that this one was not working because I wouldn't have just set this one aside. If the scratches are really bad, I flag them right off the bat and I put them over here. If they're not that bad, I'll try to test it, and then if it doesn't work, I'll put them over here. So that's probably what happened here. Anyway, we'll open up the system now, and I'll show you guys what I do to repair a disc like this. Because the scratches are not so significant, I'm literally going to skip over the blue compound. Usually I'll just walk you through the regular process here. You would base your pads based on the scratches on the disc. So this is like the softer one, this is the more coarse one, this is for the actual sanding. I skip both of these most of the time unless the disc is in really bad shape. Then usually after a few runs, 10 to 20 seconds on those, you would hop over into the white thing right here, the white polisher, which is like the actual, I think, cleaner. And then this guy, which just polishes it off for a finer finish at the end. I basically drop this guy out completely because it's not necessary. Yes, if you have a really expensive disc and you want it to look perfect, this is a good way to go. But if you don't, just stick with the white one. It's totally fine. So for this one, no deep scratches, so we're not going to go for any of the other ones. I know you can't see these, but anyway, we're not going to go for any of these because they're not too deep. So we'll just go with this guy right here. This should do the trick. 2 minutes on this, and I bet you it'll be all good. So I just simply open up the system, pop this guy down. I should get another one of these because this one's getting kind of worn out, so we'll go over the numbers on that in a second. And then we got the white advanced polishing compound. This is the bigger bottle that you can get. I bought this one on Amazon, and again, I'll break down the numbers in a second, but let's go ahead and pour a little bit of this onto the white thing there. Just so you guys get an idea, you don't need that much. In fact, this is probably, it's probably right around the right amount that you need to use per disc. So that's how much I'm going to add there, and then we'll go ahead and throw our disc in. All right, so again, we got our disc. Obviously, you put the scratch side facing down. We're going to unscrew this guy. It fell in, of course, but anyway, we'll put it right there. Another complaint that I've heard real quick is that you can get rings around here because of the tightness of this guy. So what some people do, they do like little, pads here or whatever, just to protect it. They just make their own and then it will protect the disc. That is an option if you really care about it. This one, it won't be as big of a deal. It's only 2 minutes, so we should be okay. But I'm going to go ahead now and just simply install this guy right on here. I'm going to go ahead now and close this guy up, turn the system on, and I'm going to select 2 minutes. But before I do that, I'm going to go up and actually, I'm going to go up and do this while this is running. I'm going to go find the spray bottle. Let me go ahead and set this to 2 minutes though, and let me go find that bottle. And bam, just like that, the disc has finished. I'm going to open up the system here, And we'll see that it's pretty dirty in a way. It's just like wet, and it's got the compound all over it. I'll leave that in there for right now. And we'll pull it out. You can take a look at it here. You can see that it is it's wet, so we gotta clean it off. I managed to find my spray bottle, so I'm just going to give this thing a couple sprays. The system does come with a spray. Let me see if we can find it. Right here is an anti-static spray cleaner. I find that water is just as good as this thing. I'm not sure what this actually is in here. It can be used for dust and smudge removal, which I guess is good, but I have not really used it. I've just used water, so it works just as well. Save some money there. I'm going to give this thing a quick spray like that. Now it's pretty wet, and I'm going to grab my towel down here and dry it off. Just give the disc a nice wipe here. Some of these towels, like the one that I've gotten here, people will complain about that it actually like damages the disc. You can see it's kind of getting smudgy now, but we'll clean that all off. That it actually like scratches the disc. I haven't actually had an experience like that, but I know that a couple people have complained of that. So just be aware of that. You might want to get a different towel. You can use microfiber ones, but also the microfiber ones absorb the water really quick and they're kind of annoying. But this thing does do the trick for me. Again, just trying to polish it, get anywhere where there's some sort of smudge or mark, and that actually looks pretty good. Other thing to do is wipe around the entire side of the disc and the top. Some of the compound will get in there and you don't want that getting into your system, so just a simple wipe like that will get all that cleaned off. You can even spray it with water if you like, but I'm just going to give it a nice rub here. And bam, just like that, you can see now, and I'll try to get you a good angle there as well, you can see that the disc has a few scratches left. There's definitely a couple very light, small scratches. There's a couple fingerprints still up there in the corner that we can just wipe off. But it's nowhere near as bad as when we had first gotten it. This will almost definitely play, and it is a clean disc. And just to show you guys now, ignore the sound of my crazy Xbox. This thing needs to be taken apart and rebuilt, or just swapped out with another one because it's not working very well. But the game is working. It's tested and it's good to go. So that's a pretty quick way to do it. It takes 2 minutes of your time. You can do these while you're doing other things, while you're doing your accounting or your inventory, or if you're testing other games, and you can just have that going the entire time. Pretty simple to do, one compound, disc is nice and clean, and that is the easiest way that I've been able to find to use the JFJ Easy Pro. Really quickly though, if you do have a disc that is much more significantly scratched, again I recommend going through about 10 seconds of one of these pads first. You don't want to run these very long because then it can really damage your disc. So you just want to maybe run through once, twice if it's really bad and you just are like, last resort trying to get it working. But you really only want to do these like once. Either the soft or the coarse one. And then again, this one is like your number one tool right here. Buy a couple of these because these are definitely helpful. You're gonna run 90% of your discs through this guy right here, and just that guy alone. 2 minutes. If it needs it, put it on for another 2 minutes, and it will do the job. And then this guy again, if you have a more expensive disc, you want a finer finish, that's your go-to there. A little bit of water. Don't bother buying the specialty compound. I don't find a difference there. Spray it off, give it a little wipe with a towel, and you are all good. So that's how you do it. 2 minutes there for basically any disc, and it's a pretty quick solution for fixing all your broken discs.
Okay, so let's talk some quick costs here, do a little bit of math, figure out how much it costs for discs. Should you buy one of these systems? They do work well in my opinion. I know some people have had some other issues with them, but from my experience with them, I'm really liking it. But let's talk about the cost. First of all, the system, $225 give or take based on where you buy it. That's what I paid, right around that number. You can buy it for a little bit less. You can get one used on eBay, $170, $160. They do still go for a fair amount used, but you can get one cheaper. I just recommend going for the new one. If you're spending that kind of money on it, you might as well just get one that's brand new, it will work and all that good stuff. You get all the compounds with it, and nobody's used it wrong. So again, $160 on the low end, $225, $250 on the high end. I think on JFJ's website they're like $200, so somewhere around there. We'll call it $225 for the purpose of this video. So what else do you need? You got the system in. This guy is going to be your priority right here. This is $18 for a bottle. Each bottle does about 1,000 discs. You can get this on Amazon. I know there's some lots on eBay. You can get like 4 of them for $80, so that's pretty good as well. This may have been $22 actually. I'm gonna look this up and get these numbers right. Yeah, okay, so here's actually the live numbers on this. The JFJ Easy Pro on Amazon right now is 250 Canadian, mind you. These are all Canadian dollars. One of these guys looks like it's about $18.23 if you want 5 of them, or no, sorry, 3 of them in a pack for about $52. So you can save some money there if you bundle them. But why would you need to bundle them when they do about 1,000 discs each? That's right, which is pretty crazy. Plus you get the original compound in the thing. So you pay the upfront on the machine, you pay your $225. What's it now cost you per disc after that? We're not going to include the cost of the machine because that's just the price of your machine. You just want to worry about the actual replenishable stuff here, which means you get 1,000 discs out of one of these bottles is costing you about 1.8 cents a piece. So 1 cent and then 0.8 of a cent for each disc that you do. Run the machine for 2 minutes. Obviously, again, you have the cost of the machine there that you have to factor in. But that's pretty good. Honestly, for repairing discs, that's basically nothing. So it's definitely worth it versus going to some place and paying $2, $3 to do it. You can do it yourself here for much cheaper.
And yeah, definitely would recommend this system for anybody who is starting out. If you're doing maybe 500, 1,000 games, you're dealing with that sort of range, definitely a great system to have. There is a much higher end system. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there is one for if you're dealing in a much higher volume of games and you want to be able to do this much quicker. There are systems for that as well as if you're just starting with like, you know, a few games and you want to try. I know there's one that you can do like by hand. There's like the one that goes on the wheel. Would I recommend any of those? My review, like the reviews I've read on them and things I've heard aren't that great. So if you are going to do it, I'd recommend just going right from the JFJ. I was debating some of the $60 to $80 ones on Amazon, the kind of no-name ones, and they all got pretty bad reviews. So I'm glad that I went with the JFJ for the money. It's definitely worth it. It is a little bit of an upfront investment. You're going to be losing out on some maybe inventory money or whatever, but it's worth your money. And again, the compounds are pretty fairly priced, and you can do a lot of discs. My final comment on this would be that I know a lot of people have said that if you run too many discs or if you do too many of them, you know, consistently back to back, then you could run into issues with the system overheating or stop running and things like that. I haven't actually heard any reviews online about that, and I've run my system pretty much back to back for a few hours on end at least over certain periods of time. So I haven't experienced that. I haven't had any issues with it. It hasn't stopped working. It hasn't, you know, spun any slower. So I'm not too concerned about that at the moment. You can give it a little bit of time to rest in between. The reality is if you take the disc out and you clean it, that time alone is probably enough time for the system to kind of rest and cool off. If you are consistently doing them, I guess you could give the system, you know, 5-10 minute pause here and there, but I haven't run into that issue. Anyway, I want to keep this video short and quick, so I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you found value in this video, please consider leaving a like. If you have any questions about the system that you want me to answer, I have it here, so you know I can try things. If you want me to answer any questions, I can answer them down below, hopefully, and that would be great. And yeah, again, please consider subscribing. That's going to be it for today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one.